All right, so we are going to continue on with the last part of chapter 3. We're going to add our doors and our windows. This is going to be starting on page 348. See, of course, open your file. You're going to zoom in. It wants us to start working in this area right here. And if you look, there's a very important picture at the top of page 349, and that's just going to show you some of the dimensions of how your doors are going to sit. Because each of them are going to be 2 inches from the wall and then are going to have a 2-inch door frame. So the beauty about this is we can use our dynamic blocks instead of having to draw every door symbol. So what we can do to do that is you can either go to Tools, Palettes, and Tool Palettes, or you can just press Control 3. And that's going to bring this right over here to the side. Right, so we want to click on the Architectural tab, and then you have Door Imperial, and we're going to click on that. So we're just going to click somewhere out in space, doesn't matter, just arbitrarily in the middle of a room to insert the symbol. Right, and then click on it where you selected it. And notice you've got all kinds of arrows and grips and all kinds of things. So let's see, this one here is going to control the open angle of the door. Got some options there. Let's see, this guy down here is going to allow you to adjust the depth of the door jamb, which is going to be, in our situation, we're going to use 6. Let's see, this guy and this guy are going to change the swing of your door. So if you click one, it's just going to go the other way. And then this one will allow you to adjust the width of your doors. All right, so it wants us to place this on the correct layer. If you haven't made one already, and I don't believe that I have, we need to make one called A-door, and it is going to be continuous, and it's going to be, is this one? It's going to be, put this on here so we can see it. It is going to be red, or number 1. Okay, and then it has, we're also going to need another one, so we can go ahead and do that one as well. That is going to be A door FRAM. That's supposed to be a dash, not an underscore. There we go. And this one is going to also be continuous, but this is going to be color 2. And say OK. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this on the correct layer. So A door. Right, and it wants us to set this to a 90-degree open. Oh, I don't think I grabbed it. There we go. All right, and so now what we're going to have to do is to prepare our door openings for our blocks. We need to offset some of our doors, or some of our wall lines, to get the locations of our doors. So let's see, where do we want to start? I believe there is going to be one, make sure that is line K. There's going to be one right up here. Going to be right there. And let's see, let's do some offsets. Let's see, how do I want to do it? I'm just going to draw kind of a location line, and I'm going to do 2 offsets. We're going to do one, and this actually says you can draw a rectangle on each side. You don't really have to do it that way. You can just do an offset of 2 inches twice, because it's all obviously going to make a rectangle. So let's do our offset, and we're going to do 2 inches, and there, and there. And I'm just going to get rid of that one and trim these guys off. Right, and our opening is going to be 3 feet. I'm going to do another offset of this one of 3 feet. And then I need to do the other door jamb, and that's going to be another offset of 2 inches. There. Right, so now we should be able to trim this off. Right there, and that's our opening for our door. And then let's see if I can tell where this is going to sit in here. All right, where'd my door go? There it is. And we got it up here. Make sure that that is the right size. That one is not. So let's look at this. I believe that one's going to be the right one. Let's make sure that I am placing this properly. All right, yes. I'm going to move this right down here. There. And it is not swinging the correct way. Remember, we can just use our arrows to fix that. So I'm going to want this one to go inward and to the wall, like so. There, and actually, you look at one thing because it may want us, yes, it does want us to have the door frame on its own layer. So I guess that's why they probably wanted us to do the rectangle there. I guess we can go back and do it that way. And let's see, change these layers. Where are we at? There we go. Trim the others. And actually, if I want to draw a rectangle, I could probably just get rid of these two. There. And there. Okay, that's better. Right, so there is our door one up at the top. I'm going to come down to this. Oh, I have a messed up line there. There. Oh, okay. See, and sometimes we find things as we're going through. There we are. All right, so now this one is going to open inward toward this room. I'm going to draw my little construction line here. And I'm going to go ahead and offset by 2 inches. And be careful not to get it mixed up with your grid line right there. All right, so now I'm going to draw, and actually I'll go ahead and offset this. These are all going to be 3-foot doors. So let's see. There's a bunch of different ways we could do this. So let's see if I'm doing the whole thing, including that 2. So it should be 3'2". That should be where the other one should fall. So now let's do my rectangle. So let's see. The length, I don't know exactly what it's wanting for length, but let's try 2 and 6. Oh, perfect. Oh no, it went away. Come back. Okay, let's try that again. Rectangle. And come down here. We want dimensions. And I'm going to do 2, enter, and 6. Enter. And enter. Okay. So we have that there now. I'm going to go ahead. Let me do a measurement just to be sure I'm not totally confident. Perfect. That is 3. Right, and if you want, you can also just copy these and move them over. And then just delete your construction lines. Trim these guys off. And then we can add our door. We can copy it. Bring it down here. I guess we can, I'll move my base point in a minute. So we want this to swing the other way. And actually that's perfect. That's exactly where we want it. There. Okay, perfect. And then we're going to do the same thing on over across these other rooms. And by drawing this line further out from the wall, that's going to help me see it. We're going to do our 2-inch offset. And then we're going to do our 3'2" offset. And now I can draw my rectangles. So we're going to be 2, enter, 6, enter. Oh, that did not give me the rectangle I wanted. And actually, if we want, let's work smarter, not harder. Let's just copy the ones we already have. There. And get rid of those. Trim the center. And then I can just copy this guy. And even though that's not swinging the right way, remember we can just click on that and change our swing. I keep on going. I'm going to come over here. Do our 2-inch offset. Do our 3'2" offset. Grab one of my rectangles again. There. I can get rid of my construction lines. Trim the centers. And then this time, this door is going to be the exact same swing, so I can copy it and I don't really have to change anything. And the last one is going to be off of this wall here. Once again, be careful with your grid lines. I have a feeling this one's going to sit almost right on top of it. And then let's do our 3'2". There. Oh no. Apparently there's something not touching something somewhere. All right, let's try that again. Okay, what are we? Maybe not extended all the way over here. Not sure why that's happening. It is not loving that for some reason. Do I have an extra line there? No? Well, that is odd. I'll go ahead and just try this. There. And then this one is going to be the same swing as this door here. Actually, I don't need that wall. There. There was something going on a little wonky there. That's okay. We've got it. And then it wants us to put one more down here. It's my 2-inch. I'm going to do my 3'2". Go ahead and copy one of my rectangles. There we go. And delete those. And let's see, this one is going to be the same as this one. So let's copy that. All right, there. So those are all of the doors that are on page 353. There's going to be some more that you're going to add on the next couple pages. I'm going to stop and let everybody do their own on number 11, which is page 54. And we'll add the one, I'll come back and we'll look at doing the exterior door on page 355. All right, so where we left off, you should have added all of the doors shown through page 354. Now on 355, it's going to be a little bit different because up here, this is going to be an 8-inch wall when all the other ones that we've done thus far have been 6-inch. We're still keeping our 6-inch door jambs, so we're just going to push them off to be flush with that inside or outside, whatever face that wall is, depending on how you're looking at it. Oh, and another note, it'd be easy to miss on page 354. This is not a door, but it is just a wall opening. So you'll just trim that off and make sure that these are on the proper wall layer. All right, so moving forward. On page 355, we do also have an external door here. And that is on one of our doubled up walls. So it's going to be sitting kind of funny. It tells us that this is going to be held back 3 inches from the outside face. So I'm going to do a 3-inch offset right there. So that's going to be where it's going to align there, but it's also going to be flush with this face of the wall. So I'm just going to draw a line just to kind of give me some reference. So now I can take my jamb and copy it over. And that's going to align right there. Right, and this is a 3-foot door. So I'm going to offset my 3'2" like I've been doing. And I'm going to copy this again. Oh, I don't know why it keeps giving me a circle. CO. And that one's going to go right there. I am going to check my dimensions. Some of mine have been getting off. Just want to be sure. Yep, perfect. I'm going to get rid of my little construction lines. I'm going to leave that one there for just a second. And let's see, was this a 3-foot door? We can go ahead and just copy this one. There. All right, that looks good. My door is not quite the right depth. There. I can get rid of my 3-inch line, but we are going to have to make some new lines. So I'm going to make a new wall, and these are going to need to be on the wall layer. And these are going to go all the way across. And I'm going to do the same down here. start doing some trimming. Ooh, make sure I'm not getting my, make sure you don't trim off your grid. Oh, it got rid of my other lines. Oh no. That does not look like that lines up. Okay, it does. It's playing with my eyes. Okay. These are now playing with my eyes. All right, now I can just change my wall types. Okay. There we go. Now I just need to clean up my walls. That's my outer wall. And this is going to be my wall cavity. All right. There we go, that's better. And I've already drawn, if we flip to page 357, it has us doing our man door and a roll-up door here. I went ahead and placed my man door. It's going to be set back and done the exact same way that we did this one here. But now we're going to do our overhead door. So it is going to be 2'7" from this wall here. So let's do our offset, 2'7". And then the whole opening is going to be 10 feet. There. All right, so now I can just extend these lines inward, because we're going to end up cutting these walls. There. All right, and I think, what was that, 2 inches from there? 4 inches. All right, because we're going to need to kind of know that for when we break this and kind of make that turn. So here I'm going to offset this, because what we're doing, if you look in the picture, your wall cavity is going to kind of turn inward a little bit. So we're going to need to make a little offset there. Offset 4 inches. There we go. Do a little trim. There. And this is going to become wall cavity layer. And then we're going to do the same thing up here. And sometimes I even need to look at the pictures just to double check that they're not playing with my eyes. There. And I think we can trim this off in the middle now. There we go. And our door is going to be 2 inches by 10 feet. And then we're just going to close that off. All right, so there is our door, but we also need to put what it would look like in the open position, because you need to know what that clearance is going to be. So I've got this one here. This is what it would be in the closed position, but see the dotted lines, that's what it's going to be open. So we need to go back and look at what our layer for that is. It has a door above. So that's going to be, and we can go ahead and make that layer. I have not done that one yet myself. So it's going to be a dash door dash ABOV. And this one is going to be hidden 2 and number 1. So let's see our color. We are already at number 1. But we need to make this hidden 2. I don't have that one yet, so I'm going to load it. Okay, make sure I select it. All right, so now we have that layer. Let's make it current. And let's see. So it is going to be 9 foot from the exterior wall. So let's see, I'm going to offset this line. 9 feet. I'm going to change it to the appropriate layer. And then I'm just going to connect the dots. There. All right, perfect. So those are going to be the more complicated ones. The ones that are, let's see, looking at page, let's see, wants figures 3512, 3513. So that is going to be the 2 pictures on page 358. And those are all going to be 3-foot doors. We're going to do those exactly like we've done before. So this is going to be in this area. And then there's going to be one in this area. And then let's see, if we look at page 359, at the top of that, there is also a few more doors, and those are also all 3 foot, and those are going to be over at A somewhere. Looks like they're going to be in this vicinity here. All right. And so we're going to do some partitions and some other things, and we'll pick that up in the next video. All right, so let's pick up where we left off. We should have left off with, I believe it's all of the doors in this section. And I went ahead and added my doors up here because those, I feel like y'all didn't need me for that. There is one more thing we're going to add down, where are we at? Right up here, there's going to be a partition wall that we're going to draw with a dashed line here. And we're going to use the A door above layer for that. So I'm going to use my line. It looks like it's approximately going to be centered. It really doesn't give us, let's see, yep, it doesn't really give us much of a, let's see if it'll track me. Yeah, there we go, perfect. And this line is going to go almost over to the other wall. But there, and it wants us to use a polyline to draw the arrow. I'm going to draw a polyline. Come off. I like the angle that it's giving me already. Take off my ortho. Let's see if it'll, perfect. Now it wants us to set the width of this line to 3. So select your polyline and type in PE for a polyline edit. And then it gives us a bunch of options at the bottom. We're going to choose W for width, and we're going to type in 3. There. So that's all there is for that. And now we're going to move to what they call the storefront entry at the front entrance here. Basically what the storefront means is pretty much as it says. If you think about a regular storefront, you usually have double doors, and you'll usually have windows on either side, or if you have 2 sets of double doors, as in this case, there is going to be a window in between those. So the first one it has us look at is going to be on the one on this wall here, and it's going to give us a few dimensions to show us where to place these. So I'm going to draw my construction line like I like to do. And let's see, the first edge of the double doors is going to be 4 foot 8 inches. So I'm going to use my offset, 4 foot 8. And we're going to move that over. And then it says that the other edge of the total outside of the other door is going to be 16 feet. Offset 16 foot. There. All right. Let's see. And it has us using 6 foot doors or 2 3s. And it also shows us, since it shows us that 6'2" dimension, it's including that 2-inch frame on the inside. So let's see, I'm going to find a door that's already pointing that direction. I'm just going to use my copy and paste. Oh, there we go. And actually, I did not go ahead and offset my outside. So let me do that first. Remember, we're 3 inches offset from the outside wall. Now I can copy this, or move it actually. Oh, wrong command. And I want to use my top pick point right there. And now I can mirror this one over. Oh, and I didn't actually even get that pick point I wanted. Let's try that again. I want it to be up here. That's better. And I'm actually just going to use my mirror command here. And I want to choose my center. And I'm just, let's turn on ortho so we know that we're getting it at the exact right angle. Right, and we don't want to erase the source object. Actually, let's do that again. I want to actually mirror this as well. Again, I'm gonna choose, oh, I didn't choose mirror, I chose move. There. All right, and choose, there we go. Oh no, I forgot to do this, the erase source object thing. I miss that every time. Erase source object, no. There we go. That's good there. And now I can go ahead and copy all of it. To the next door. So make sure I'm lining that up right there. All right, I think we have everything aligned there. We can go ahead and trim off some of this. And I'm just making sure that I'm not, when I'm trimming these, sometimes if a line just inadvertently doesn't meet somewhere and you just go to trimming, sometimes you might trim off more than what you want. I'm going to delete this line. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there just for a minute because I will probably need that for my window frame in a minute. We're going to get rid of these as well. Oh, and as a matter of fact, I forgot to do the one on the inside wall. There. Oh, a couple other little guys there. Okay, I got them on that side. All right, I'm going to get rid of my construction lines I used. Let's see, let me double check something. Yeah, I do. Actually, I should have kept those lines. Let's do that. I'm going to trim them instead, because we do actually need those lines. I have to use one over there too. Ah, my lines went away. That's okay. I can redraw them. Actually, I don't know why I got rid of all of them. Need to have that one anyway. There. I'm going to change my layer. That's better. Actually, yep, I need those too. There. All right, that's better. Now we need to look at making our storefront system, or the window in the middle. And it kind of gives you a breakdown of what that's going to look like right in here. So you have your door frame, and now you're going to have your glass. Let's see, and that one is going to be set back, it looks like that 3 inches as well. It's going to match with your door frame. So I'm going to, I think I can go ahead and delete that construction line I had there. All right. And now I can get rid of this line as well. Oh, those ones I just made, I actually don't need them. All right. So now we're going to draw our window. So we have some new layers. We have a glaze and a sill. I've gone ahead and made those as well. See, it actually gave us 3 different ones. On this part, we're just going to use the frame and the sill. No, glaze and sill, excuse me. And we're not going to use the glazing frame for this one, since we're using the door frame instead. All right, so let's make our sill. Let's go ahead and do our sills. That's going to be our easiest one. Make sure we're on the right layer. I'm just going to draw those straight across. All right, and it looks like, let me make sure I'm not. All right, nope, not missing anything. And it looks like our a glaze layer is going to be right in the middle. Make sure I haven't missed anything. Nope, that all looks good there. So that is all of it. So over here, these are actually going to be centered on this corridor. So I am going to draw a construction line. And this is going to help me copy this, rotate it, and put it in the right place. So I'm just going to copy everything I just did. I'm just going to put it out in space for now until I can rotate it. So RO. And there we go, that's the one I want. Now I can move it. And I can use the center point. And line that up right here. Actually, need to have that 3-inch line, so we'll put him up there. So that's where that's actually going to line up at. Let's make our life easier and extend that line. Now we can move it into the proper place. I think I didn't catch that line. All right, yep, we're going to have to do some cleaning up of these lines and adding some. So we'll need this one here. Wow, I missed a lot of stuff there. So be careful when you're moving and copying things. All right, let's delete that. Doesn't look like my glazing stayed where I wanted it to either. That, of course, did not work the way that I wanted it to. Okay, my eyes are playing tricks on me. And that one should not have been trimmed. It's going to take everything back because I don't know why that one didn't trim. All right, let's go ahead and draw our line down here. And change the colors of those so we can see. Okay, I guess it's the two doors. That's what's messing me up. That's what's throwing me. Right, and we can just copy this one over. That's better. All right, I'm gonna see if these, trying to figure out the easiest way, if we can mirror it or if we have to rotate it. See, I'm gonna try a mirror. Let's see what happens. Because the center of this should be a good mirror line, so let's try it out. This time make sure I'm selecting everything. Okay, we want to mirror. And let's find mirror line. Ah, not quite. Not quite. No, we'll go with it and we'll, I did the same thing again. All right, we'll just move it and rotate it. Okay, I think I've got everything this time. Copy. I'm going to bring it over here. And I am going to try a mirror this time and start rotating it because it might just be easier. And yes, this time we do want to erase the source object. And let's see, these should fit directly on this wall. There shouldn't be any setbacks or anything like that. And it should be centered on, let me make sure this is the center of this line. Okay, yeah, that one will work. So let's just do a move. Find my center point here. I'm going to put it on my center point there. And I can trim off my blue lines. Even though it did not give me, it didn't trim off my blue lines, it trimmed off my yellow ones. I bet you it's not gonna, yep, that's what I thought. But you know what? I will just change the properties. And then I gotta draw that little line again. Did I put the wrong line? I think I might have matched the wrong properties. That's better. Right, and then trim off on this side. And again, it's not letting me trim my blue lines. Trimming all my others instead. That's okay. All right. Now I think I have all of them. There. All right, so that is your storefront. I'm going to delete that. So all of this should be centered. Gives you the dimensions for the top, and this is all on page 360 and 361. So this is what you should look like with all of your doors placed. And from here, I'm going to stop the video here, let you catch up, and then when I come back, we are going to start placing all of our windows. All right, so at this point, we should have finished all of our doors, including our interior doors, exterior doors, and our storefront up at the top. Now we're going to start adding our windows, and we are going to be starting on page 363. In the last video, I went ahead and made all of my new layers. Once again, that's going to be these three here are going to be dealing with our windows, A-glaze frame, and A-glaze sill. All right, so the first thing, it has us looking down here at grid line 2. Let's see, make sure I'm looking at the right things. Okay. I said sometimes I have to double check and make sure I'm in the right place too, and you know, we're checking for our correct grid lines. All right, so we're going to be working right in here, and it's going to give us some dimensions, and it looks like these are going to be referenced from our grid line B. So let's see, I'm trying to find a good color for construction lines. Normally this wouldn't be a normal layer you do, but I'm starting to get lost in some of my layers. So I'm just going to make a construction layer, whatever we want to call it, doesn't really matter. And I'm going to make it some off the wall crazy color. I'll do pink. Pink will stand out pretty good. All right. So I'm going to, where are we at? All right, so it has us starting here, and if I go toward the right, I'm going to offset the first one by 4 feet. Let me go ahead and draw my construction line. Right, and then I'm going to offset that 4 feet. And then the next one's going to be 6, and I'm just going to go ahead and offset all these over. Or actually, you know what? We can do the windows in there as well. Let's do that. Just double checking it doesn't have our dimension. Okay. So yeah, from glaze to, or from outside to outside, it's going to be your 4 feet. Right, so let's do the offset of 4 feet. Then I'm going to do another at 2. Oh, that gave me 2 inches. Actually, you know what? We don't even do that. Let's work smarter, not harder. Let's go ahead and just do the offsets that it shows in the book, and then we can just copy and paste over. All right, so let's do our 6 foot. I'm going to do another, actually, 2 more 6 foot. Right. And I guess we can go ahead and go the other direction as well. So the first one's going to be 3 foot 3. And then the other 2 are also going to be 6 foot. There. All right, so that's where my first window is going to sit. It's also going to give us the 3-inch offset from the outside of the wall. Let's put that in there, and I'm also going to make it my crazy pink line as well, just so I can see. And now we want to draw our 2x6 frame. And that did not give me a 2x6. At all. Loving it. All right, we'll just do it the other way. And this is going to be on a glaze frame. All right, there's my 1. And now I'm going to offset this line 4. Copy this over. And I can actually go ahead and copy all these over. Or I can wait. So let's see. Making sure I'm getting the right layers here. We're just going to use, that is glaze, I believe. Yes, I'm getting all lost in my layers as well. I'm going to put that right in the middle. And then this is going to be your sill. They're going to line up with your walls. So it's actually very important that you trim the lines in between here before you put your sill lines. Because otherwise they will overlap. Wrong layer. All right, and from here I can actually copy and paste these now. And I'll come back and do the sills here after we complete this part, because I'll have to do my trimming up here. And it does have one more. All right, so let's go back and start cleaning things up. Nope, I'm not going to get rid of my 3-inch line yet. So everything in between is going to stay the same. I'm going to go ahead and trim all of this off. And I do need another line over there actually, so that I can trim my blue line. All right. Now I can delete these. Right, and I can actually just copy these over now as well. All right. So we have our windows on this side, so now we're going to do the same thing over on this side. All right, and I can copy and paste these guys. Let's see, I think I want to use this corner as my base point. Nope. All right, there's 3 windows on this side. All right, so we've got our windows in, we've got our glazing, we just need to do some trimming. All right, now we just need to add our windowsills. There. Oh, and I forgot to delete my wall cavity lines. Right. Now I just need to change the properties of my construction lines here before I can trim them off. there's a little line under there. All right, that is better. I'm going to delete my construction lines. All right, so that is going to be your windows on figure 3.5.19 on page 363. And let's see, there's some more down at the bottom of this page. And then I'm going to stop and let you guys do some on your own. So the others, it has us coming right down here to this wall, still on grid line 2. And this one has me starting at D. So let me make sure that I know which one is D. D is this one. All right, let's see. All right, so sorry about that slight interruption there. We're going to come back and we're looking at the picture at the bottom of page 363. I'm going to be working on grid line D, so I'm going to make sure I'm working on the right one. And let's see, I'm going to draw my construction line. Oh, nope, I didn't want that to turn into a construction line. Oh, where's a grid? There we go. I need to draw a construction line. There. All right, so the first dimension it gives me, and actually it has me working from C as well. So we can do the same thing over here. So my first offsets are going to be 3'3". There we are, and then I'm going to have 2 more offsets of 6 foot. There. Right, and once again, I can actually really just copy and paste everything over. Actually, I do need those 4 foot offsets as well. Okay, so there are 3 windows. I need another one there. Okay. And one more. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, oh, I still need my 3-inch offset. I knew I shouldn't have deleted that. Now I can do some copying and pasting. First, I'm just going to do those inside pieces. I use this bottom corner. All right, so we have those, and I can go ahead and start doing some of my trimming before I come and put my sills in. I can trim off all my cavity lines. Okay, and I can just go back and delete these since I've trimmed them. All right, and now I can trim off my wall lines. Oh, and I didn't get my wall cavity lines on this side. Now I can copy my sills. There. And let's see, one more thing. I need to change these lines to wall lines. And trim them off. Remember, there's this little piece under here. Oh, I trimmed the wrong one. That's all right, I'll redraw it. Because if I undo now, it's going to, just like that, get rid of more than I want to. And for some reason I didn't change those either. All right, I think we have that. Let's get rid of our construction lines. Right, so that is your first wall of windows. And let's see, it has on the next page, 364, it's going to have you add some more of the same size windows. And those are going to be, there's 5. Those are going to be right in this corner down here. So just make sure you are paying attention to your grid numbers or letters, and you have dimensions given in your book. And let's see, make sure we're not missing anything. On the next page, 365. And it's going to pretty much have you doing the same thing. I think that one's going to be up at the top here between G and F. And these are all 4-foot wide windows. So I feel like y'all have enough information to see how to do these. Remember, you have your glazing here. That's going to be your window pane. You have your 2 window frames. And then you have your sills. And we will return when we start doing some different sized windows and once we get to our curved windows on our curved wall. All right, so we have completed all of our doors and we've done all of our windows that need to be placed. We have all these up here. I guess this would technically be the front since that is the main entry. You've got these larger windows, have these in the corner. All these, make sure these are all little 2-foot windows. And then you have some more over here. So now we're going to add our rotated windows because there is going to be this whole wall is going to be covered by windows. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to copy one of my 2-foot windows. And let's pull it over here to where it's almost in the right spot. I'm going to rotate it. There we go. Move it back over just a bit. Okay, ortho is not going to be good. Okay, so now I'm going to stretch this 4 inches in each direction. That's going to help us trim things off. Oh, that one didn't work. There. All right. So we're going to have to take this and put it on this and then rotate it. And we're going to have to do that for every window since all the way around the rotation angle is going to change just like it did with our columns. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to place this onto the window wall, or the curve wall, excuse me. So I'm going to do a move. The midpoint here is going to be my base point. And then I'm going to find the midpoint of this curved wall. So that's going to be right there. We're going to leave him right there. So then what we're going to do is we are going to rotate. So let's go ahead and choose rotate and select what we want. And remember, if you choose your selection box from left to right, it's only going to select whatever you completely enclose. If you go from right to left, it'll select everything you touch. So left to right is what we're looking for right now. All right, so I have selected everything. Now I'm going to hit enter. Now it wants me to specify a base point. I'm going to do that right there. Okay, notice I can rotate all the way around. Not doing that though. I'm going to type R for reference. And then if you look at page 368, it's going to show you exactly where your pick points are. So the first, this is going to be pick 2 in the book. That's going to be your reference angle. So that is going to be the same as your base point. Then your second pick, or technically your third pick, is going to be the midpoint of your sill line. And then your third point is going to be perpendicular to the curved line. So if you turn and you see you get that perpendicular snap symbol, that's where you're going to go. So it's just remembering the order of the commands. Remember, you're going to use the rotate command, press enter, select your base point, press enter, press R, then enter, and then make your 3 picks. So that's just one. And it tells us that these are going to be approximately 12 inches of wall between each window. We say approximately because this is a curved wall. So it's going to be, it would technically be a different dimension on the inside as the outside. So I'm going to use this line. And I am going to offset it by 1 foot. So that's where the side of one of my windows is going to go. And actually, I should have copied this instead of moved it. Move that over. Just rotate. Take it. All right, so I'm just going to copy this one every time. All right, so we got that one, and I'm just going to copy it every time. So the next one is going to be a slightly different process because before we were using midpoints because we had a nice midpoint here on that curved wall. Not going to be quite as cut and dry. So I'm going to do a move, and I want this to be my base point. And then I'm going to put that right on top of there. Now, since I'm not using my midpoints here, I can't use my midpoints for my rotate. So I'm going to select, oh, don't want that guy. There we go. And we're going to select rotate. This time my base point, I'm going to use this intersection right here. Okay. And now I'm going to choose Raven. That actually looks really good where it's at. I'm going to do it the proper way. R for reference. So my reference point is going to be here. My other point is here and there. Right, so those are your 2. We can go out the other way. And I'm just going to do one section, and then you all can do your own. Oh, I did a move instead of a copy that time. All right, don't be like me. Work smart, not hard. so this time I'm going to copy it. There. And really, you could have made several copies and that would have been okay. All right, so offset again. Still got 1 foot. I'll go ahead and do one this way too. And technically I should have 2 lines here, so I do want to make sure that I'm not doubling up my lines. And I'll end up on the other side as well. All right, so I'll go ahead and do this one on this side since it's a little bit different. So we're going to move. I'm going to use this base point this time. And we're going to put it right on that intersection. Going to, I don't want that line. There we go. All right, we're going to choose rotate, same way. Base points here, choose R for reference angle. We're going to choose that same intersection, the base of our sill, and there. And notice they're not going to be perfect because this is a curved line and our windows are flat, so it's not going to be perfect. I need probably 3 more. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let's see, I think I still had 2 lines right here, so I'm going to delete one of those. All right, so let's move this guy. Right. Now I'm going to select the whole thing, rotate. Base point is going to be that corner. R for reference. And choose that same point. Come down, make sure you're getting that point where that sill meets the frame. And there. That one is a little wonky. I might actually straighten that one just a smidge. I want to do it the same way that I did before. See if that'll straighten it a little bit. It did not. Try one other thing. See what it looks like on both ends. There we go. What am I looking at down here? Okay, those are the original lines. All these lines are confusing me. All right, so we're going to get that a little bit closer. So once you get it to that reference angle, if you need to edit or clean up some of those lines, that is too many. That is perfectly okay. I'll go ahead over here. Let's do our 1 foot offset. Put that right on that intersection. Rotate. My base point is going to be right here. R for reference. Same thing's going to be my reference point. And rotate. And then once again, like I said, we can clean that up just a bit. There. All right, so I probably need maybe 2 more windows. And I think I can delete one of these. Actually, no, it's one of these. All right, so let's do our 1 foot offset. I'll go ahead and do one over here. All right, so we're going to need 2 more. I'll go ahead and copy one of these one more time, because we will ultimately need many, many more of these. All right, so move. Put that right on that corner. Now we're going to rotate. And actually, that did amazing. We might be trying that. let's try that on this side because that worked amazingly. Oh, it's not going to give me that one. So that looks pretty good too. All right, so that'll be one wall. And just remember, you can't necessarily copy from one wall to the next because your angles are going to be a little bit different. We do need to go back and trim off some of our excess. Make sure you're not trimming the inside of your walls. I do it this way and I can just go back and delete the line in between. Otherwise, I'm trimming a lot. Oh, I got the wrong line. I'll have to go back and add that because if I stop now, it'll give me back everything I've already trimmed. All right. There. All right, so now I can delete all of the wall cavity lines. All right, and now what we want to do is we're going to turn off our sill line layer. We're going to freeze it so that we see where we at. All right, so we froze that, so we shouldn't be able to see those anymore. So come over here, we can't see them. So now I can actually trim off my pieces of wall without having to worry about messing up my sill lines. We can trim off these guys at the bottom. All right, so now when we unfreeze our layer, there they are again. All right, so these are the only windows left. So just follow the same steps that we just went over and create the rest of the windows along this entire wall, actually. So it'll take you a minute, but like I said, just use the same steps that we just did and you will complete that, and that will finish chapter 3. Yay!